She stepped into apartment 13B and froze. There, sitting at a desk, was herself. Same face, same clothes, even the same tired eyes. But calmer. Too calm. The other Rachel turned to face her, smiled, and said in a voice that wasn't quite human, "You're not ready to leave yet."
The 13th rain pelted the sidewalk, transforming the blood into pink rivers that snaked toward the storm drain. Police lights splashed against the glass facade of Halcyon Heights, turning the ultra-modern skyscraper into a garish disco ball of red and blue. Rachel Winters pulled her press badge from her pocket, ducked under the police tape, and approached the body, or what remained of it. "Jesus," she whispered, taking in the shattered form on the concrete. Even with her years covering the crime beat, something about this scene made her stomach turn. The victim, Thomas Reed, 32, investment banker, lay at an impossible angle. His limbs twisted in directions human bones shouldn't bend, yet his face appeared eerily serene. Detective Harlow nodded at her. "Your newspaper gets here faster than the coroner these days." "Something's off," Rachel said, ignoring his comment. "If he jumped, why is he positioned like this? The impact pattern's wrong." Harlow's expression darkened, already casting doubt on the obvious. He jumped. People in finance do that sometimes. Rachel crouched beside the body. Reed's hand was still clutching his phone with rigor mortis. She glanced at the shattered screen. His last call had been placed at 11:42 p.m., 17 minutes before the estimated time of death. The location services indicator showed his final position, floor 13. "This building doesn't have a 13th floor," she said. Harlow didn't look up from his notepad. "Nobody does. Bad luck." But Rachel had already photographed the screen. "I've managed this building for 11 years, Howard Beckett said, his smile too practiced, too tight. "I can assure you there is no 13th floor at Halcyon Heights. We go from 12 to 14, like most high-rises." Rachel studied the building manager's face. His right eye twitched almost imperceptibly. Then why did Thomas Reed's phone place him on the 13th floor minutes before he died? Beckett's smile didn't falter. "A glitch. GPS gets confused in tall buildings." The elevator panel confirmed his story. 1 through 12, then 14 through 30. No 13. She tried the architect next, then maintenance, then security. Each response was identical, as if rehearsed. That night, unable to sleep, Rachel returned to the building. She rode the elevator alone, watching the numbers illuminate: 10, 11, 12, 14. But as the car passed between floors, Rachel swore she saw it. A brief flicker on the panel, the number 13 illuminated for a fraction of a second, then gone. 3 days passed. Rachel's apartment transformed into a conspiracy theorist's den. Blueprints taped to walls, forum printouts littering her floor. She'd found obscure message boards where people claimed Halcyon Heights was built on cursed ground. Others insisted the 13th floor existed but had been removed from reality. Most disturbing was a Reddit thread from 6 months ago. "Does anyone else notice people disappearing from Halcyon Heights?" The account had been deleted the next day. Thomas Reed's financials revealed large payments to a Floor 13 research initiative. His search history included elevator override sequences and reality displacement. At 3 a.m., she found it, a building schematic from the original construction company. Between floors 12 and 14 was a narrow space, unmarked but undeniably there. The next piece came from Reed's cloud backup, a series of numbers, not phone numbers or coordinates, floor buttons, a sequence. Rachel's hands trembled as she copied it down. 14 7 12 5 1. The elevator hummed softly at 2:18 a.m. Rachel was alone, the security guard having just started his rounds outside. Her fingers hovered over the panel, Press, 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 long press. The elevator lurched. The digital display flickered, then displayed a symbol she'd never seen before, turning into the number 13. The car moved sideways, then down, impossibly, as though shifting to another shaft. When the doors opened, Rachel faced a narrow hallway that shouldn't exist. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, flickering arrhythmically. The air felt wrong, too dense, pressing against her eardrums. The hallway stretched far longer than the building's dimensions should allow. She checked her phone. No signal. The time display showed 2:18 a.m. Still, behind frosted glass doors, shadows moved. Whispers leaked through the cracks, too quiet to decipher, but clearly forming words. Her recorder captured nothing but static. At the end of the hall, apartment 13C, Thomas Reed's apartment, according to his lease, a lease that officially didn't exist. The door to 13C opened at her touch. The apartment was immaculate, too clean, as though manufactured moments before she arrived. On the coffee table lay a Polaroid photograph, face down. Rachel turned it over and gasped. It was her face, not as she was now, but as she would be later tonight, hair disheveled, eyes wide with terror, a small cut on her cheekbone that she didn't currently have. Beside it, a voice recorder. She pressed play. Her own voice emerged. "Don't trust the mirrors. They're watching from the other side. I'm still here, trapped. You've made a mistake coming back." "Back?" she whispered. She'd never been here before. The bathroom mirror caught her eye. Her reflection seemed delayed, moving a millisecond after she did. When she raised her left hand, her reflection raised it slightly higher, as though trying to communicate something different. The reflection's eyes met hers, and it mouthed, "Run!" Rachel fled, heart hammering. As the elevator doors closed, she glimpsed something moving down the hallway, a figure walking with unnatural, jerking movements. The next morning, Rachel called her editor, frantic. "Mark, I need more time on the Reed story. I found something impossible." Silence then. "Who is this?" Rachel Winters, your crime reporter for 3 years?" "Ma'am, nobody by that name works here. We don't have a crime section anymore." Her press badge was missing from her wallet. Her bylines had vanished from the newspaper's website. Her apartment key didn't work. Through the door, she heard laughter, a family living in what had been her home. The locksmith had no record of her. Her bank account had been closed months ago. Her social media was gone. Only her notes remained, clutched in her trembling hand, proof she wasn't going insane. That night, she slept in her car outside Halcyon Heights. At midnight, she saw Thomas Reed enter the building, the same Thomas Reed who had allegedly died days before. Rachel followed Reed, staying just out of sight. He took the elevator, using the same sequence she had discovered. She caught the next car, repeated the pattern. On the 13th floor, Reed walked confidently toward apartment 13A. She watched him unlock it and enter. 10 minutes later, she knocked. He answered, smiling pleasantly. "I've been expecting you," he said. "You're getting closer." Inside, the apartment was identical to 13C, but mirrored and covered with photographs, hundreds of them. People who had lived at Halcyon Heights, people who had disappeared. "It's not just a floor," Reed explained too calmly. "It's a filter, a psychological trap that erases certain people from existence and replaces them with versions willing to maintain the secret." He smiled. "That's why I had to jump, to warn you, but they pulled me back in." "Who did this? Who controls it?" Rachel demanded. Reed shook his head. "It's not a who, it's a what. The building itself, or something inside it." He showed her schematics. The 13th floor wasn't just separate, it was dimensionally inconsistent with the rest of the structure. It existed in a spatial anomaly. "What happens to the originals?" she whispered. Reed's eyes darkened. They stay here, forever, unless someone helps them escape. Rachel broke into the building one final time, armed with Reed's master key and his warnings. The elevator sequence worked, bringing her to the 13th floor. This time, she was ready, camera rolling, live streaming to a backup server. The hallway felt different, expectant. The doors to all apartments stood open except one, 13B. Inside, she found herself. Another Rachel sat at a desk, typing. Her clothes were identical, her posture perfect. When other Rachel turned, her face was calm, empty of the fear that had driven the real Rachel for days. "You're not ready to leave yet," other Rachel said, voice melodic and wrong. "You're not me," Rachel whispered, backing toward the door. Other Rachel stood, movements too fluid. "I'm the better version, the compliant version." She stepped closer, the version that understands what must be forgotten. Rachel fumbled for the door handle behind her. "Who are you replacing me for? Why me?" "Because you saw," other Rachel said. "And seeing means joining. But don't worry, you'll be comfortable here. Everyone adapts eventually." The door slammed shut. The lock turned. Rachel screamed, pounding on the door, but the sound didn't carry beyond the room. Outside, in the real world, other Rachel rode the elevator down to the lobby. She nodded pleasantly at the security guard, walked outside, and disappeared into the city. On the 13th floor from her eternal prison, the real Rachel Winters watched through the window as her replacement lived her life, a life she could observe but never again touch. Behind her, the figures of previous residents gathered, welcoming her to their fold. The building had claimed another truth seeker.
If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications.